All right, let's talk about one of the most dangerous things lurking in the digital world. It's a type of malware called a computer worm. And the truly terrifying part, it doesn't need any help from you to spread and cause absolute chaos.
And this quote it nails it, doesn't it? We're not talking about some brute force attack that's banging down your digital door. No, this is something much quieter. A silent predator that finds the cracks in our connected world and just slips right in. So to really get a handle on just how powerful a worm is, we first need to understand the digital battlefield where it operates. So let's start with the big picture. Now, you've probably heard the term malware thrown around. It's really just an umbrella term for any software that's designed to be, well, bad. It's a whole family of digital troublemakers. You've got your viruses, your Trojans, your spyware, and of course the star of today's show, the worm. They're all part of the same nasty family, but they definitely don't all play by the same rules. Okay, so what's the big deal? What actually sets a worm apart from its cousins? This is the crucial question, because the answer is what makes it one of the most powerful threats in all of cybersecurity.
Right, let's pop the hood and see what makes this thing tick. We're going to break down the anatomy of this terrifying and kind of brilliant piece of code.
Here's the definition, and there are two phrases here that are just everything. Self-replicating and without requiring any user interaction. That second part is the real kicker. A worm doesn't need you to click on a bad link. It doesn't need you to open a weird attachment. It's a ghost in the machine, completely autonomous. This makes it crystal clear. Think of a virus like a parasite. It has to latch onto a host, like a document or an app, and it needs you to spread it, maybe by emailing that file to a friend. But a worm, it's a whole different beast. It doesn't need a host because it is the host. It's a standalone program that travels and executes all by itself. And it has a terrifyingly simple and brutally effective game plan. It's a four-step loop. First, it scans networks, constantly probing, looking for a digital window that was left unlocked. Then, it exploits that vulnerability to get inside. Once it's in, it immediately replicates. It creates a perfect clone of itself. And finally, that new clone starts the whole cycle over again from its new home. Scan, exploit, replicate, repeat. It's a deadly automated loop that just keeps going. And the result of that cycle isn't just growth. It's an explosion. It's exponential. All it takes is one single machine to get infected, and that machine becomes ground zero, launching copies of itself to 2 more machines, then 4, then 16. You get the idea. An entire network can fall like dominoes in a matter of hours. And believe me, this isn't just some theory. Worms have a long and very real history of causing incredible devastation. Let's take a look at some of the most infamous ones. Yeah, worms have been around for a while. The Morris worm back in 1988 was the original wake-up call. It was the first real proof that you could disrupt the entire internet. Fast forward to 2008, you got Configure, which created this massive hidden army of infected PCs, a botnet, just waiting for orders. And then, in 2017, we got WannaCry. We really need to talk about WannaCry because its impact was so tangible, so terrifying. This wasn't just about computers crashing. We're talking about hospitals across the UK being crippled, global banking systems disrupted, government agencies around the world just halted. It did all this by combining the worm's ability to spread on its own with a nasty ransomware payload that locked up critical files and demanded payment. It was a massive wake-up call for the entire planet. And here's why the threat is only getting bigger. Think about your life right now. You've got smart speakers, security cameras, routers, maybe even a smart fridge. This Internet of Things has created a massive, sprawling, and often insecure playground where a modern worm can just thrive, spreading faster than we've ever seen before. And that brings us to today, to the modern battlefield. This is a high-stakes fight that's happening right now, every single second, in the ones and zeros that run our world. So let's just boil it down. Why are worms the stuff of nightmares for security experts? It comes down to 4 things. Speed. They move at machine speed, way faster than a human team can react. Scale. They can go from one PC to a global infection in just hours. Stealth. They're designed to be ghosts, operating in the shadows. And finally, the payload. The worm itself is just the delivery system for whatever nasty surprise it's carrying. Okay, after all that doom and gloom, here's the good news. We are not defenseless, not at all. In fact, just as the threats evolve, so do our shields. The strategies we use to defend ourselves are getting more sophisticated and way more intelligent. Our modern shield wall is built on a few core ideas. Patching systems. That's basically just locking your digital windows and doors. You close those vulnerabilities before a worm can find them. Then there's network segmentation. Think of it like fire doors in a building. If a breach happens in one area, you can seal it off so it can't spread. And of course, intrusion detection systems. These are like digital guard dogs, constantly monitoring for any sign of malicious activity. But this is where the fight gets truly futuristic. The new frontier is artificial intelligence. Instead of just waiting for an attack to happen, AI systems can now analyze threat data from all over the globe to predict a worm's next move. I mean, just imagine building a defense for an attack that hasn't even been launched yet. It's a total game changer, shifting the whole field from being reactive to being predictive. And really, it all comes down to this one powerful idea. When you're facing an automated enemy that moves at the speed of light, your response has to be just as fast. Proactive, automated defense isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it is the only path to survival.
Understanding how a threat works is always the first step toward building a defense. And as AI helps us predict and counter these silent attacks, you have to ask yourself, are we entering a new age of automated warfare where invisible code fights invisible code for control of our digital world? Something to think about. Stay informed and stay secure.